What's up? Are you coming or not? We are ready to go. This is going to be amazing. You need to make sure you are in the room at the Owning It and Living It experience November 1st through 3rd in Atlanta, Georgia. Don't worry about next year. Come this year. This year, I am giving away a fully renovated house, and I'm telling you right now that I'm not giving away one next year. Not only will you learn from me, you'll learn from so many amazing people in the industry. Henry Washington, Kendra Barnes, Jackie and Preston Perry, Lecrae Moore, Felipe, Ingrid, Sarah. You gotta be in the room though. This is the perfect conference to merge Black and brown culture with real estate knowledge. We are going to be dancing to Joanna and learning all about real estate. You're gonna actually learn some specific strategies that's gonna help you scale to the next level. Go ahead, go to the link below and grab your ticket today.
If you're an entrepreneur, especially mompreneurs out there, but the dadpreneurs out there are fine too, your business can't run without you.
A person's wealth is determined by their assets, investments, and things that they own. I say true wealth is about how you live it. Your girl is back. Welcome to season 2 of Wealth Within Reach. Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Within Reach. And this episode is going to be so good, y'all, today. Okay. So if you are here and you are a woman or a mom and you find yourself being in a situation where your priority list for the year is considering yourself, then listen up to this episode. Go ahead and get your notes, your phone, so you can take some good notes because you're going to need it today. Today, I have Precious K. Williams, mental health guru, all the things, who really helps us to learn not only just about generational wealth, but also generational health. Okay. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, E. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, man.
Hey, y'all.
We have known each other for a really long time.
Years, decades.
Yeah, decades. Yeah, yes. It has been. And I have enjoyed seeing your transformation in so many ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, yes, all the things. And it's just been such a journey and it's been so amazing to watch. I mean, we've had these conversations ourselves because, I talk about generational wealth and the importance of women really taking advantage of that and building that for ourselves, our families.
Right.
And I think your important conversation on generational health is really the foundation that we need before we even get to the wealth conversation. So talk to me about what led you to even be interested in mental health.
Awesome. Thank you so much. First of all, you're like a mentor to me, not only in real life, but in my head. So I'm just glad that our relationship is being cultivated. I'm just so excited. Mental health has mattered to me for a long time. I have a master's in counseling. So although I love all of my coaches out there, I have a whole degree.
Yes.
Degreed in counseling, but it's important to me because I'm a first generation American, and a lot of time having West African parents, we didn't talk about our feelings. We didn't talk about how we felt. For me, growing up, I weighed more in 9th grade than I weigh now.
Wow.
And so I was the one that ate her feelings. I was the one that ate when I was happy, ate when I was sad, ate to please my mom because she worked so hard on the meal.
Yeah.
Like I was just the good eater.
Yeah.
And that was something that I dealt with for a long time. And also I was also a people watcher. So I'm always watching people and figuring out why you do that. Why do you act that way? So mental health was something that I wanted to explore mostly for myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to figure out why do I do the things I do? How can I really, truly transform my life?
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things from my mom as far as spiritual health, but mental health, it was literally a foreign language for me. And so I truly believe the message is always for the messenger first.
Yeah.
And in order to help others and even help myself, I had to get some knowledge on it. And that's really what made me start.
That's so good. I love that. Wow. So you weighed more in the 9th grade than you do now.
Yes.
Wow.
I was a big boned,
yeah,
we like to say in our culture. So yes, I've always dealt with my weight loss journey, my health journey, and it wasn't until I started my master's in counseling that I truly got a hold on the triggers and the behind the scenes of why I was on a yo-yo experience with my body.
Wow. What's so interesting? Okay. I know you did not weigh 600 pounds, but I watched 600 Pound
One of
Life.
my favorite shows.
I just started watching it. Girl, my mama got me on that. I don't know how I started watching that, but one of the things that's so important, that's a pattern, is that you can't just address the physical health, that the mental health is so important in their journey.
Right.
And even specifically, what I love about you is, there's so many programs and things like that, and people out there that are just focusing on the weight loss and, the behavior change. But I love how you bring family dynamics into the conversation with women. What made you decide to do that?
Well, the thing about weight loss is that there's a lot of levels and dimensions to weight loss, but the emotional weight and the mental weight is the heaviest. And I've had personal trainers. I have one now that I have a love-hate relationship with. I love you. But I believe in the physical transformation. But when you're a mother and you're dealing with other humans, or you're dealing with a spouse, or you're a caregiver, you have you're a millennial with older parents that are aging. There's a lot of other weight you're carrying that has nothing to do with the number on the scale.
Yep.
And so if you don't address that, you're going to continue to go in a cyclical pattern of battling the behavior modification. We know this as a Christian. Behavior modification is just the first step. You can't maintain that.
No.
That's the flesh, right? So you have to get down to the spirit and to the mental weight that you're carrying. I like to tell it to when my client says BKAK. So before kids, I realized that I wanted to leave a legacy, right? And so where I was and weighing, being a size 20, weighing over 240 pounds wasn't going to be a good starting point for me if I really wanted to live a long time and have a family and have a healthy pregnancy. This is before I even had kids.
Wow.
So God had dropped that nugget in my head, like, you are meant for a lot. And right now you're not fit for that in this body.
Yes. Right? You're not fit for the dream that you want to have.
Right. For the dream that he had for me. And so I had to take that discipline and apply it to that. And so for my moms and the women that I work with on a daily basis, I help them see that it's about you, but if you can't even grasp that yet, if you're so used to being selfless that you can't grasp that, then it's also about the legacy you're leading. It's about the example you're leaving. Yeah. Right. And so AK, after kids, it really helped me see that, wow, like, if as strong as I am spiritually because of my mom's example, what if I would have had a physical example? Wow. What if I would have had a mental example? Yeah. How much more ground would I have made now? Yeah. And so I want my girls to not only I have 3 daughters, not only have the spiritual, foundation, but I want them to have the emotional foundation, the self-care foundation, I want them to work hard, but I also want them to work hard on themselves. Yes. So,
okay. So many gems. Okay. So we're going to start with one because, this is a predominantly real estate investor audience, right? And so they may be saying, why are we talking about health and wealth? We should be talking about real estate. Right. And what they don't realize. So in my programs, I don't start with strategy. I don't start with financing. I start with mindset. Yeah. I tested this theory when one time I went to a conference and I was like, okay, I get up early and I work out. I was like, let me just go down to the gym and let me just get ready for the day. And I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna do a quick workout. I went to the gym and it was packed. Yeah. And that said to me that achievers believe in taking care of themselves. Yeah. I say something about in order for you to be successful at investing, you have to be successful at optimizing your mindset because the best deals that you're going to come across go the fastest. And you have to be in a mindset that you are able to make a good decision quickly. In order to do that, you have to take care of yourself mentally, spiritually and physically in order to be in that situation. Absolutely. So, do you agree? Talk to me about generational health in this way. Did you know that not only am I a real estate investor, but I am also a licensed real estate agent, and I have a team of investor-friendly agents here in Atlanta too. My agents are amazing, and we help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate all over the Atlanta area. So if you are thinking about buying, selling, or investing in the Atlanta area, you can book a free 15-minute consultation with one of my agents, and we can figure out where you need to be. Go to the link down below and book your call.
Yes, so true. So true. Because if you're an entrepreneur, especially mompreneurs out there, but the dadpreneurs out there are fine too, you cannot, if your business can't run without you. Mm-hmm. So if you're not in your optimal position, optimal shape, how are you going to get the best result for where you want to go in life and where you want to go in your business? Right. Not only that, I have moments, I could tell when I'm dehydrated or when I haven't had enough water.
Or when you're hangry.
When I'm hangry, when I have brain fog. Like yesterday I was talking to someone, I'm like, I can't find the word. We like to call it mom brain or I'm just so busy. No, you're thirsty. Go get some water. Your brain needs hydration. And so we don't really make those connections. And you think that you're grinding all my life and this is, can't stop, won't stop. All of these, I told my age there. But there's a lot of, I think we canceled him. But the reality is you can only hustle so much. Woo. And so you've got to make sure that the vessel is equipped for you to actually get to where you want to go. You don't drive a car and not check the oil. Yep. Right? You don't go on a road trip and not get a tune-up. Like these are things that we do for vehicles that are man-made. Yeah. And now you're dealing with a vehicle that's God-made. Yeah. And you want to treat it any old kind of way.
Okay, so you talk about God, you talk about faith. Let's have the conversation.
Come on.
Especially being a believer, being a Christian woman, I am second. Things that are important, like putting others first, all that kind of stuff. And how do we navigate that? Because I feel like it's a struggle for me to take care of myself and to come into that mindset. But at the same time, I can get so burnt out because I'm doing everything else. So how do we navigate this idea of faith and being selfless, but then, trying not to be selfish? Like, how do we navigate that?
I love that question. It's going to be controversial.
Let's go. That's what we do here. Let's go.
All right, I'm in the right spot. Okay, so...
We opened up the group chat here.
Oh, the group chat is open. Okay, on red. Okay. The reality is it biblical? Is it biblical that you are to be selfless? Because I serve a savior, Jesus, who took naps. Yeah. Who told the disciples, y'all are tripping, like have faith. Yeah. I can't believe y'all don't still believe. Yeah. Took 3 out of the 12 up to pray. So he made decisions that were best for himself in the times that he needed to make the decision that's best for himself so that he could serve the masses. Yeah. And then times he sacrificed, right? They went across the, we're going real church, but they went across the ocean or the lake, whatever, and they wanted to rest. But the crowd was hungry. Yeah. He still fed them even though they needed to rest. Yeah. So you're going to have times that you have to sacrifice, but that is not the state. That's not your constant state. Yes. Right.
We should operate in all the time.
Right. Because reality is that's rooted in pride.
Okay. What you mean rooted in pride?
Because you are the source. You are the strength. You are the provider.
And you're not.
God is. So you have to trust that if I rest, it's still going to get done. Ooh. If I don't show up for my kid in this way that they want because of something I need, it's still going to be okay. Yeah. And so with my mommy wellness clients, in the ways I work with women, I tell them all the time, your child's wants do not always supersede your needs. And you are teaching them a valuable lesson that just because I want it doesn't mean that I get it, despite someone else's needs. Wow. So you need to exercise. You need to sleep. You need to eat. So if my child wants a snack and I'm eating a meal, she's going to have to wait till I finish my bite. Yeah. Right? But when we get them in this place where it's like, I want, mom doesn't matter. Yeah. She can wait. She can stand up at the counter and eat. I can eat my food in the car because I have a showing for a house. Yeah. I can just eat at my desk. This is a message you're sending yourself, you're sending your nervous system, you're sending those around you that you're indestructible. So I said a lot, but the reality is it's rooted in pride. It's not rooted in Jesus' way of operating.
It's not rooted in trust.
It's not rooted in trust. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, like we want to love others like we love ourselves. And people always say, be selfless and put others first, but it just came first. Ooh. It didn't say that you love others and then you love yourself second. It says love others as you love yourself. Yes. If you don't love yourself, whatever love you're giving is counterfeit.
That's so good. Yeah. Oh man, so many gems, so many things dropped. You reminded me of a conversation. I know you have 3 girls, I have 3 boys. One, you reminded me of how we condition girls to put up with anything by not actually having boundaries for ourselves. Yes. One, I hear a lot of women, especially Christian women, who talk about how they want their kids to be better than them, but they don't show them. Right. And I struggle with that.
Yeah.
How important is it for us to actually show our kids better versus just telling them verbally of how they need to be better?
I love that. So I have a statement that I say all the time is that your kids do more of what you model than what you mention.
That's good.
That's life. They do more than what you model, than what you mention. If someone tells you to do something, it's way different impact than you watch them actually do it for themselves.
Right.
Additionally, like, we don't stop being God's children when we have children.
Right. No.
And so you're so focused on raising children or building your wealth or doing things that outside of you that you're forgetting that you're actually still in the growing up process. And I'm still being raised. Sometimes I'm like, who's the adult here? Because I know you know.
I
I'm
told
not
my kids, look, I'm just trying to do my best right now, okay?
The best I can.
I've never done this before. Okay, I'm just trying to do my best.
Listen, we out here, right? We out here. And so it's really important that we show them rather than tell them. One, it gives them the ability to one day feel like I'm not failing because I didn't have it together.
Yes.
Like, I saw my mom figuring it out with me.
Yes.
I saw my mom taking a nap. I saw my mom declaring her boundaries. I saw my mom, these are things, or my dad or my parent, my caregiver, take time for themselves. I call it taking your turn.
Yeah.
Take your turn, because at the end of the day, everyone in the family gets a turn. And lots of times, brothers, we love y'all, but it's the mom.
Yeah.
It's the woman that does not get a turn in the household.
Yeah.
And so it's so, so important, because when you ask me about selflessness and, doing for others and all that, I don't see that as being as big an issue as for our brothers.
Let's talk about that.
For our male entrepreneurs, right? Like, we have all this balance and we want to get, we want to.
Yeah. I never hear them asking men about how do you balance life and home, or I never hear that.
Right, because typically when they ask them, what is the answer?
I've never heard of that.
If you ask a man that's like, oh, how do you do it all? You got a family. They typically
the wife.
My wife. If it wasn't for my wife,
yes,
and we'd be so thankful. Like, oh, thank you, honey. No, help me. Share the load. Okay.
So, give me some examples from clients that you work with. What are these women struggling with? Like, what are they struggling with in their day-to-day life?
Yeah, typically it's a lack of awareness. Then, so same thing what you mentioned about mindset, right?
Yeah.
Typically it's a lack of awareness. You think you're doing a good job. And you're actually, I work with very high achieving women. This is not like, oh, I'm downtrodden, my hair is a messy bun. No, these are like boss women, right? And I love that. And I also do have downtrodden, my hair is in a messy bun, and we get them where they need to be, right? But the reality is, like, you appear well. You have it together, but at the end of the day, you're last or not on the list at all.
Yeah.
And you have no awareness of that. So I don't even use the language of burned out or lost in motherhood, because if you ask most of my clients that, they're not going to say yes.
Yeah.
Because to the world, they have it together. They're doing upper middle class, entrepreneurs, real estate moguls, all these types of things. The reality is, once you get down to a person, you ask them, like, who are you outside of what you do? When's the last time you did something that had nothing to do with your kids or your businesses? What is your hobby? What did you used to do as a kid? Do you still do those things? When's the last book you read that was not about your business?
Yeah.
Or personal development?
Yeah.
That was just for enjoyment? Then it gets real, right? And so I have a framework called the Live Framework, where we walk through, where do we lift ourselves to the next level of health that's for you.
That's
not
good.
Getting snatched or snap back or, doing what I do in the gym, because
you be grinding, girl. I'll be like,
it's a whole different story. Well, when you a thick mama, you gotta work a little bit harder. Okay.
Yeah.
But how do we lift you up? And it really comes down to being aware of where you currently are.
Yeah.
And the L is how to lighten your load, because it's usually, especially for women, same what you said, I can't go into strategy and meal plans without figuring out what's on your plate that has to come off. Yeah,
a lot of those women I'm friends with. And so I think about the women who, what's so crazy, like, their husbands and men actually are okay with being helpful. These aren't necessarily men who are like, I'm the man, like, but for some reason, the women, we take on stuff too much. Like, we forget that some of us have partner to support. So we take on the responsibility. I have to be the one to pick them up. I have to be the one to cook dinner. I have to be the one to do X, Y, Z. How do you help women to break that I have to because they think that there's no one else that can do that. How do you help them break that?
Girl, you're telling my life story, okay? And the reality is all those things you mentioned, I stem from identity. We have been raised that the identity of a woman and the value and her intrinsic worth comes from all these things that she does. So we have to break that chain, that generational curse, right? Because we have counterparts in other cultures who are very good at outsourcing and taking their turn and getting help.
West African.
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend that's in Ghana and she doesn't have any kids. And she's like, oh, it's normal to have someone come over and clean and take care of things. Yeah. Like, it's not a luxury thing. It is a part of society. Yeah. Why would I do this by myself?
Right. But we know we had a transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah.
So
it's individualism that we have in America.
And it's a mindset. And so for women, I help them. We create something called a mom care routine. A lot of times we have so much on our plate. It's a cycle. We become accustomed to the positive reinforcement.
I'm like, girl, just say it.
Listen, the positive, you get praise for it. You get praise for it every day. Oh, you're doing so good. I don't take it as a compliment when people say, oh, you're a super mom. How do you do it all? Please no. Because do not feed that little girl in me that likes that compliment. Yeah. I want people to say, wow, you delegate so well. I love how you have so many things. I love how you can sit and not think about. That is the compliment. Yes. That's a true compliment, right? Because if you look at a well-adjusted male entrepreneur, he's going golfing. Yes. Right? He has he might go fishing, hours on the, and we're talking about women entrepreneurs. You working all night, right. You're cooking and you might be able to afford a chef, but you still in there cooking and you don't even like to cook. Now, if you like to cook, do it. But the reality is our identity is tied to it. There's a lot of positive reinforcement that comes from that burnout cycle. Yeah. That needs to be broken. And then we have to communicate. Yeah. Right. I don't believe in asking for help. I believe in delegating completely. So I have 3 kids. I do not do bedtime. Yeah. My husband does bedtime. Now, my father didn't even know where the soap and lotion were. Wow. I've never been bathed by my father, right? Yeah. So I had to stop looking at it as he's helping me.
Oh, my husband is babysitting tonight. What?
That's a different side of the internet. I don't even know those people. But there's a lot of people who think that in doing things for the children or for the house that we both live in, right, or to keep the marriage that we both benefit from afloat, that you're helping me. Yes. And so you might as well cuss me out if you're my client. I hear you say, oh yeah, I asked him for help. No, you didn't. Yeah. No, you didn't. And I need you, if there's something that you keep feeling like is heavy on your plate and that person has a gift to be able to handle it and it's not heavy for them, it needs to be reassigned. Yes. Delegate the delegatables, reassign that. So I am a morning person. Yeah. He is not. He can stay up all night, though his blood pressure says something differently. But so he does bedtime. Yeah. And it's better for everyone. Yes. I'm not snapping at the kids because
you're tired and you're ready to go to bed.
You're not getting the same mama you had before 8:30.
Yes.
You're not.
Yes.
Right? My nervous system is regulated. They get to see their father in a way I never saw mine. Right? They're building core memories. Yeah. And I had to let go of, well, daddy does it this way. At some point, you have to deal with that gut check because you're used to getting the praise for being mommy and being the nurturer. And now you have someone else that's stepping into that role as well. Yes. And so I can imagine for a male, maybe it would be like if I just started fixing stuff around the house or something like that. I have no idea because we don't do such traditional gender roles in my house. But there's a little bit of release, not a little bit, a lot of release that you have to give. Accept the benefit of the weight loss. Yes. The emotional weight loss and the mental weight loss.
That's good.
Over the benefit of getting praise for, oh, mommy, this meal was so good. Or mommy, I love how you read me that bedtime book. I love when in the middle of the night, when my toddler calls my husband, I'm like, she calling you, right? But in the beginning, it was weird. Like, why are you calling your daddy and not your mom? Now it's like,
but that's because you have shaken the identity that my kids are like my identity. They add to your life, but they are not your entire life. Exactly. And I think that's really important. And so I remember our kids, they used to go to Texas every summer when they were younger. And one time they went to Texas and we had the best time when they were gone. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Y'all were
this
dating
is
again.
great.
Y'all was
like,
outside.
I see you. Yeah, obviously they're not here, but what else it's draining us so much to where we are just so drained when they're here. And then we recognize, oh, it's laundry. Oh, it is, figuring out what we're going to eat every night. Oh, it's like taking them back and forth to activities. So we created a plan to begin delegating that. Mm-hmm. We hadn't seen that anywhere, but we were just kind of like, we wanted to create a new family. Just because you grew up a certain way doesn't mean you have to continue on in that way. You can create your own new family based off of your values and what's important to you. And so now, we delegate. I'm not doing laundry. And, it's so amazing. So what ways have you done the same to fully delegate so that you can take care of yourself and have moments to prioritize yourself?
Awesome. I laughed while I was just smiling when we were talking because I was telling my husband, I have a wish list. Now I'm not there yet.
Yes.
I have a wish list of things I want to delegate. So one day I was telling him, he was like, girl, what do we do? You want everybody, what?
Yes.
What do we do? We just go live in the house this person manages and will. And,
yes.
But yes, I think it does come just by reimagining what we can have, what we can be, where we can enjoy our kids for their person instead of being their waiter or their, servant.
Yes, servant fully. Because they will let you full out be their servant.
Listen, so for those who may not have the resources to delegate financially, right? Like you may not be able to like outsource all of the household tasks.
Yeah.
I'm really saying outsource your kids. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. A lot of us don't have the same village. A lot of us don't have the same trust of people in our network.
Yeah.
But I really find that co-parenting with your friends, with their friends, like my girls are in Girl Scouts. So I'm like, okay, well, sometimes one mom will take the girls to Girl Scouts where I'll pick them up.
Yep.
Things like that will give you more space. Really, sometimes you just need time to think. And instead of trying to balance it all, which I don't believe in balance, we need to find the harmony. Who can come in as a tenor? Who can come in as a soprano while I play alto? Instead of me looking like a crazy person trying to do all the things, right? So my sister and I do that so well. Like she lives down the street and I know that's a privilege, but we will try and say, okay, this week, what's heavy on you? What day is heavy for you? Your girls can come here, my girls can come there. So we're still raising the kids, right?
Yes.
But we're giving them an opportunity to see us at our best. Stop thinking you need a break for your kids. No, I just want to be the best when I'm with my kids.
Yes.
Right? Give them a version of me that's well rested, that's well taken care of.
Yes.
And my kids will hear me when I say, "Oh, I'm good. I ain't got no kids tonight." And now they know that doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means just like you don't want to go to school every day, I don't necessarily want to be in charge of you every day. I want to see you every day, but sometimes I don't want to be thinking about what you have to eat.
Right.
I just want to be with you.
Right. I just think it's important for kids to like have a healthy balance of, mom is there for me, dad is there for me, but also I need to give them space.
Yes.
Because I'll be quick to be like, okay, mommy is done mommying today.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yes.
I'm gonna go in my room, and I don't need y'all to talk to me.
And
they're
it's
old
okay.
enough,
And
they're
it's
not
okay.
young, trying to they're old enough. So, but I literally say that all the time.
But it develops like well-adjusted people and empathetic people. If I'm taking a nap or resting, my 4-year-old, and she's like none other, she'd be like, "Mommy sleepy? Mommy resting?"
Yeah.
And she'll get a blanket and put it on me.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine not having a tantrum, you gotta wake up? Like, no, like she cares that I'm tired. And so we have to stop thinking about, how could you not?
Yes.
And I think that's really where it comes down to. And it comes down to believing you're worth it.
And I think it's kindness.
Yeah.
I think it helps to teach your kids kindness by you treating them in a kind way and them also treating you in a kind way.
Right.
Because I see sometimes kids like run over moms sometimes.
Yeah.
I have to pause my kids. So if I'm taking a nap, don't come in here asking me no questions. Like, that's not kind.
Yeah.
And I try to do the same to them.
Right.
And so I think that's just a lesson that's like really important,
Yeah.
So let's talk about generational trauma, and let's talk about women who have, grew up experiencing things that have happened to them, just various generational trauma at the hands of other people. And now something about the 30s, we start like seeing the effects of it. it's like, wait, hold on. This didn't come out when I was 20. I don't know. It's about something at 30, 40 age. We start seeing the different effects of, different generational trauma. From a mindset standpoint, where should they start with how to heal and like focus on their generational health in that way?
For mental health or things that, one, I think in the 30s and 40s, you start having triggers that trigger that memory, right? You don't have kids in the 20s for the most part, or you don't have school age kids in your 20s. So when you your kids start getting to the age that you were when the things happened to you, it sparks something to you.
Starts triggering.
Yes. And so I have a friend, her Instagram is all about re-parenting yourself. And so being able to allow yourself to feel that, like, why does that trigger me? And sometimes when you respond in a very extreme way to your kids when they do something, or if you don't have kids, really extreme way to your coworker or somebody who does something, you have to ask yourself, like, is it about that action, or is there something in me that's triggering, that's bringing it up? Yeah. And being okay with not demonizing yourself for that. Yeah. Right? That's really important because we judge ourselves so harshly.
So critical.
And would you talk to your best friend like that? That's the biggest thing. Would you talk to your best friend like that? If not, put it on the table. Yeah. Put that action, put that thought, put that feeling on the table and start deciding who is the best resource to get support in this area. Is it a mommy wellness coach? Yeah. Is it a life coach? Is it a counselor? Are my hormones out of whack? Like, what are the things and the resources that I need to tap into to begin addressing that? Because stress and trauma are our body, and Dr. Anita Phillips says this, that our body holds on to trauma in our genetics. Yeah. It's not, you could be facing a trauma from your mom that she felt, right? And so you can't look at yourself and label yourself because of that trauma. Like, that's literally in your DNA. And so from a spiritual standpoint, from a medical standpoint, you've got to be willing to go get the support like you would if you had any other concern. Yeah.
And I have had people who like come to me and they're in my programs or something like that. And the way it shows up in just this like extreme fear of like failure, and a lot of times like I ask deeper question is because like, oh, someone told me I wasn't enough, or someone told me I wasn't good enough, or the perfectionism. Oh, that's a big one. I just want to make sure I make the right decision. Facts. And a lot of that, when it's like preventing us from moving like forward and staying stuck, that's a sign that there's a deeper level of work and healing that needs to take place that can allow you to be able to move forward and focus on generational wealth. So can you break down like the difference between a life coach, mommy wellness coach, and a counselor? Like, what's the difference, and how do people know like what to choose?
That's really good. Good question. So when I was in counseling school and I mentioned I wanted to be a life coach, I had a professor that said, no, you don't. You're in counseling, you're going to be certified, you're going to have a degree, you're going to be licensed. You don't want to be a life coach. And so this was some years ago. It was some years ago, and things have evolved since then. I think counselors and coaches have a mutual respect. Yeah. But counselors at the core deal with deeper, more historical issues. Okay. Right? They're going to deal with not only the science behind those issues, but they're really going to imagine taking a Band-Aid off and then like scraping up some of the scar tissue and then like redressing the wound and letting it heal again. And that's what a counselor is going to do. Yeah. And a counselor, for the most part, in essence, is going to really help you to do the Band-Aid ripping and all that kind of stuff. So although I am not insured to counsel through my wellness program, I fully recommend that my clients who have that deeper wound, something that is causing them still pain and scar tissue, to utilize my services as a coach and still go to counseling. Most of my clients go to counseling.
I have a coach and a counselor.
Yeah, right. And so wellness coaching and life coaching are similar in the fact that we are going to do a little bit more practical, a little bit more, not even just practical, because I think counselors are doing that more now as well, but we're really about the steps. What is the next step in the actionable? I need an answer. Yes. It is a lot more accountability. We still are not supposed to give a ton of advice, though some people do give a lot of advice, but we want to still help you think through it, but there will be a little bit more of a partnership on the process.
Yeah.
And then wellness coaching just takes it to a more holistic. So there are life coaches that focus on business, that focus on entrepreneurship, that focus on general goal setting. And so for me as a wellness coach that happens to be trained as a counselor, I really focus on helping women see it from the spiritual, physical, and mental perspective. And so we're setting goals that are realistic and simple, and I'm holding you accountable with that, with real-time support, but then also able to show you when like you need to go to your physical therapist, you need to go to your primary care physician, and diagnosing where other people on your team, where other people need to be on your team.
That's good. That's so important. And I have a question. So like, give me some examples of some transformations that have happened within your wellness community. You started talking about this, and what are some also physical changes that have taken place with some of your clients?
Yeah. One of the things I'm most proud of is that 100% of my moms increased their sleep and energy level in the first 4 weeks.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Sleep is everything.
Everything. Literally, sleep is one of the best things you could do for your body. And so a lot of times we think that we need to do more. We have so much to do. You don't understand, Precious. Kind of do. I do kind of do. I do kind of understand. I have 3 kids, a whole husband, a job, a business, ministry, community, all the things, right? So I do understand, but I also know that everyone's law is different, but sleep is so important. Our 7 body functions, 7 body systems do their best work when we're asleep. Yeah. They are resetting. Your liver, you can say, I don't drink, but your liver is still suffering because you don't sleep enough so that it can reset and truly flush out toxins. We're worried about all the cancer increasing because of free radicals not being able to be flushed out of our system because we're not sleeping. And so sleep and energy level has been huge to me. Because my program is 8 weeks and they get lifetime access, I get to see them grow after the 8 weeks of working with me. So I've had moms that lost 15 to 30 pounds in the first 8 weeks working with me, but then continue to go on to lose 50 pounds. Wow. I've had that happen a few times. Yes. I had one mom that didn't have a ton of weight to lose, but she was an educator, then she was administrative assistant. And then we talked about work and we talked about her taking her turn. One of her main goals was to start getting dressed. Yeah. So she started getting dressed twice a week and had to post in our app her actually having clothes on. You love it. Right. Next thing we know, after the 8 weeks is over, she's still posting. She's still coming to our workouts because we have a holistic experience. And then she's like, oh, I have a job interview. Wow. So she took the leap of faith to go from those levels forward. She thought that she was going to be an educator forever with this. Nothing wrong with being an educator forever. But that wasn't really what was satisfying her. Right. And now she has the corporate job that she wanted, you know, and is really living. I don't even see her in that because she's living her best life, right? And so that's happened a lot. And I realized that as you know, when you take a step of obedience, you don't realize actually what all God is telling you to do. I built my business based on me being burned out, me being not really knowing what my future was going to look like, right? As far as coming back after my 3rd baby. And when I invested in myself, got a business coach, built my business in the iteration it is now. I'm looking at women, lose weight, but their lives are completely changing. Right? Like in the last 2 months, 2 of my moms sold their house and relocated. Love it. One was single. She's relocated with her daughter. The other was married. She finished her PhD while she was in our program and relocated to Texas. Love that. So it's like just the life, you know,
they're living. They're living.
Yeah. And they're no longer saying, oh, when the kids get older and oh, I don't have time. And just the limiting beliefs that start with, I don't have time to exercise, go from, oh, I found time to exercise. And I found time to talk to this woman every Sunday night for 8 weeks. And I have found time to go to these workouts on Wednesday morning. I found time to drink water, eat vegetables 4 times a day. I think I can find time to go back to school. I think I can find time to start my business, you know? And so it's a ripple effect. And then you see your kids watching you turn into a whole different woman. And so it's an honor for me.
And you really do impact generations with that.
Absolutely. I think that's where, even with my kids, like, I feel like even if I wanted to quit, I mean, God will have to replace it with something really, really amazing. But my girls are like, you know, if I go to the park, especially my second daughter, she's like, tell them about Moms on a Mission. tell them about generational health. Like, she's literally my poster child. Like, did you tell her? I'm like, I told her. You know, it's like for her, she sees that lights me up as well.
Yes,
My oldest, you know, it's a little more, she has ulterior motives. Whenever, you know, when I book a client, she's like, yes, we in there.
I love it. What are her ulterior motives?
I guess she feel like I ball out more when we have clients. I guess
she's like, Mama happy, I'm happy
exactly,
too. Okay.
Exactly. So she's like, oh yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I mean, I'm here. She's here for the money. Okay.
Yes,
But
hey.
no, I think she's seen the biggest. She saw me when I first started my brand.
Yeah.
When I first started my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We were doing Stone Mountain meetups. I didn't really know. I was just throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah.
To like crying over failed launches to like selling out launches. And I think, so I joke about her, you know, wanting me to ball out on her, but honestly, she might have the biggest stake in seeing my journey.
Why do you say that?
One, she's my bonus baby, so I joke with her that she's the baby I chose.
Yes,
I knew who she was
that.
before we, you know, got married and before I became her mom. But I think that it's really helping her see that she has more options, you know, in the world, that, you know, life comes. You know, she lost her mom in 2018, her biological mom.
Wow.
That like life is going to happen to you. And, you know, she like I said, I was heavier when I met her dad, lost the weight, had more kids, gone through burnout in motherhood. Yeah. And now I'm here speaking to women all over the country, you know, and it's like, like, I think I pray that it builds her faith of what's possible, you know.
She's taking it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is watching you do it. She's taking it all in. Okay, I love this. So many good gems, so many good tips. For someone like when you are having a hard day and just life is just lifing, what are some of the things that you tell yourself to help you keep going and get through? Yes.
One, I do believe in a Tozer quote, A.W. Tozer quote, that what you think about God is one of the most important things about you. And so in moments of like having a hard time, I just lean into it. One thing I don't really do that often anymore is convict myself for feeling the way I feel. Sometimes I coach myself a lot. If I get to a place where I'm having a hard day and then I want to hear that, Precious, don't let that bother you. Why should that bother you? You're bigger than that. I stop that voice. Because I'm God's daughter. I'm upset.
Yes.
Like, this upset me. There's times where I'm dealing with microaggression, and you know, because I've talked, you know, where I'm too much for some people, and I will be what they did wasn't the problem. I get so upset with myself that I let them bother me. And so I have had to tell myself, like, girl, feel that feeling.
Yes.
Like, you're not powerless.
Yes.
You have emotions. You're well adjusted. You're emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
Feel that feeling. And then I really do believe in the mind-body connection.
Yeah.
I will stretch. I will lay on the floor in the dark. My kids know it's on and popping when I do that. I'll put my hand on my chest, my hand on my diaphragm, or I put my hand right in between my sternum and on my stomach and just control my breathing. I'll stretch. I'll go for a walk, because our bodies are really vessels, and not only to serve other people, but to serve ourselves.
Yes.
And a lot of times we just kind of let the feelings come and just be like, well, I'm just going to, you know, you can command some respect.
Yes.
Tell your body to put some respect on your name. Yes. Utilize it to get you and get those endorphins running, get that serotonin running. So when I'm having a hard day and life is life, and I let myself feel the way I need to feel. And then I utilize that mind-body connection, put on some worship music, cry it out. Yeah. And my girls know. If they're crying, I'm like, let it out.
Yes. There's no telling them to stop crying.
Oh, no.
Girls or boys.
Or boys, absolutely.
Right.
Now, let it out. Now what are we going to do?
Yes,
you know, I'm going to cry and I'm boss up, right?
Yes.
Now what are we going to do? You need to go for a walk. You need to get some fresh air. You want to do dance, dance on YouTube, So I want to pray. So just that holistic perspective is there's no one solution, but really don't shame yourself or say you shouldn't feel this way.
That's good. That's really helpful. That's something I've been learning personally, because it's so interesting. Like, I don't have a lot of expectations of other people, but I put a lot of expectations on myself. And so my friends, my community they constantly are checking in with me. They're saying, Erica, how are you taking care of yourself? Like, what are you telling yourself? And one of the things that I do whenever times are like really hard, I mean, because I had some real hard times. I remember last year, everything at one time, it was like mental health crisis, burnt out, and I had to find $1 million in a month. Like, it was crazy.
Wait, can we just stop there? First of all, $1 million in a month. You had to find $1 million a month.
I had to find, like it was like laying around and it wasn't.
Oh, that's an interesting problem to have.
It's an interesting problem to have, right? They see all this and they're like, oh my gosh.
$1 million
I'm like, do you know more money, more problems, sis? You know?
Listen.
And so, yeah, I had to find $1 million a month. So it was all the things. And I learned that I had to learn how to handle stress. And I'm a person who naturally will just push and go. And your body does keep score and it's going to come out one way or the other.
Right.
So yeah, I've learned how to prioritize fun, traveling, hiking, dancing, just like putting on some Beyonce and just dancing and having a good time by myself. You know, like it's been really great, really trying to handle stress in a positive way. And I just think that's so important. That's an important part of this conversation.
I love that for you because stress is the number one linked risk factor to all chronic illnesses.
Wow.
Number one. And it's one of those things that is a common thread. Yeah. And so people say it's a silent killer, but I don't think it's that silent.
Yeah.
You know, we think it's silent. You're stressed and you think that you're handling it, but everyone else can see that, no, you're stressed out. Yes. And it's so important because you're building this wealth and you're doing all these accolades, but who's going to be there to enjoy it?
Yes.
It's in a snap of a finger. A heart attack is still the number one. Heart disease is still the number one killer of Black women.
Wow.
And it's been like that since I did my research in my undergraduate degree.
Wow.
So we're talking decades.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we have to deal with stress and we can't just put a Band-Aid on it.
Yes.
I love how you said handle stress. You're talking about prioritizing fun. I have an acronym of fun in my program as well. But the reality is we have to learn what is the root of the stress. Yes. We have to remove it because you keep managing it.
Yes.
I love when we talk about stress management. You can stress manage for a moment when it's seasonal, but when you have that chronic stress,
it's a problem.
You got to figure out where that's coming from.
Yeah. You got to start saying no. For me, it was trying to do too much. Yeah. Like trying to be all up in everybody else's business. I just need to do what I need to do. Even from like a team, having a team, like I micromanage and all. It's like, look, I just need to worry about what I'm supposed to be doing, not everybody else, right? So like you mentioned, I'm at home and, you know, worry, oh, well, my husband, he don't know how to do it this way. You know, like all of that is contributing to your stress.
Absolutely. That's a good one. I'm not even gonna go down that road. Right? Because we love to do that. We love to do that. And it really, once again, is like that mentality that the way I think it should be done is the right way.
My way is the right way.
Right. And that's stressing us out. And it doesn't matter. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, then why are we spending more than 5 minutes thinking about it?
Does it get done?
Period. That part.
Okay. So, all right. Any last tips to share for women who are out there and they have connected so much with this conversation, you know, with generational health? What can they start doing today to begin focusing on their generational health?
Oh, wonderful. One, you matter. Like you are just as important. When God looks down on your family and counts the children, he doesn't stop at those who are over the age of 18. You are still a daughter of God. You're still a son of God. Stop treating yourself in a way that if you were one of your kids, DFACS would come and get you, right? Like prioritize your health. Do something every day for yourself, whether it's walking, hiking, drinking your water, eating your vegetables, right? Americans 100% undereat vegetables. Like do something for yourself every single day. If you work 5 days a week, but you only do something for yourself 1 day a week,
that's a problem.
That's a problem. So look at yourself as a project, just like all the other projects you manage. And start somewhere. That's one thing I always say. You didn't get to this place overnight. Yeah. I lost 50 pounds after my third child. I didn't lose it in 8 months. I didn't lose it in 3 months. It took me 1.5 years to lose it. Yeah. And a lot of times we stop before we actually see the progress because we want to go faster. And so one thing about health, it doesn't build as fast as wealth. Yeah. You know, and so
wealth builds slow too, girl.
It does build, yes. I guess that's a marathon. It's a myth. Yeah, it's a myth that it builds fast, but you might get that one good deal. It ain't gonna be one good deal with your health. You gotta really stay the course. And similar to wealth, you're gonna have some loose losses before you have that win. So truly just give yourself more opportunities to grow. Put that same tenacity into your health as you do your wealth. Because as you mentioned about women of faith or entrepreneurs, it doesn't really track to be so successful in your business, but then your health is
jacked up.
Yeah. Really put prioritize it. It's important.
If you have connected with this conversation, I want you to know that you are not alone. There are people here who want to help you, who want to connect with you. And like Precious said, this is a village. We are a part of a community and we want to meet you. And I would encourage you to join the Owning and Living It Facebook group, because we have a lot of these conversations in our Facebook group where we're asked questions about, are you taking care of yourself? You can connect with other people who can really help to support your journey so that you can also focus on generational health while you're focusing on building generational wealth. Make sure you go to the show notes and join my free Facebook group so that we can connect further there. Also, when you come to the Owning It and Living experience November 1st through 3rd, you are going to meet Precious, because Precious is actually hosting the Owning and Living experience. Yay. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be so good. You are the perfect person to host this conversation.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
All right. So where can the people find you?
Well, I'm Precious K. Williams. The K is for Kofi, Ghana. Stand up. You can find me at preciouskwilliams.com. Precious K. Williams on all social platforms. And on my website, I do have a quiz for you, because we talked about that awareness, right? We talked about the fact that we don't know where we are. You think you're holding it together, but you barely holding it together. Mm-hmm. So if you go to preciouskwilliams.com/quiz, it's a free quiz. I learned that from my mentor. A free quiz to help you really assess where you are. And then you'll get free resources, opportunity to coach with me, join our community, to really get that generational health movement starting. It starts with us, but it doesn't have to be done alone. There are other women that are actually intentionally building this health journey for themselves and building a ripple effect for generations to come. Your whole family can be changed because of the decision you make today. Mm-hmm. You're in the right place. You listen to good content, okay? So we know that we'll see you again. I'm in the group. So I don't know.
Yes.
I'm in the group.
Yes. Precious is learning how to invest as well. So if you're here and you want to learn how to invest, but you know you got to do some work before, you need to be hitting up Precious to focus on your generational wealth. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wealth Within Reach. I'll see you next time. Hey friend, have you been enjoying this podcast and you're like, okay, Erica, how can I connect with you and other of your amazing guests that are on the podcast? You can do that within the Owning It and Living It Facebook group. I have the Owning It and Living It Facebook group to help to foster community with other like-minded real estate investors. Folks are sharing advice, I'm sharing tips, and we're fostering community so we can help take our real estate investments to the next level. If you are ready to do that, I want you to join the Owning It and Living It Facebook group. You can go to the link in the bio to join today.